They got the badges from them. Both of them got free badges for 4-day passes. Yeah. Put them in their bags and then put the sign back up and stood there still waiting for more badges. Damn. Which was crazy. And me and Alyssa were like, oh my god.
But then it's like, yo, like I could have used that.
Yeah. It's crazy. People are like that, and then they'll Craigslist are really quick.
Jeez.
Yeah, you can make a quick $300 on a Saturday badge,
if not more.
Oh yeah,
you know,
if you're trying to get rid of it quick, 300,
Saturday, 200. People go nuts for Saturday.
That's the weekend, dude.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Shit.
But yeah, go check out Comic-Con if you can get a badge or a pass.
I know there's going to be a lot of stuff down there.
There's a lot of free stuff you can do outside. So check that stuff out
too. It's worth it just for that, right?
Yes.
Like the future Taco Bell.
Yep, the Taco Bell from
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man, yeah.
What?
Can't wait for that one. I'm gonna taste something.
Fries.
Yeah.
I love Taco Bell low key. I'm not supposed to say that though.
Yeah. That's right.
Chalupas and soft taco.
We'll give them
cinnamon twist.
Those are good.
Yoga fire.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so I have one show that I've been trying to get Vic to go to, and James, if I can drag him out of his house from his kid. Deaf Heaven are coming.
Yeah.
They play Friday, August 17th. The show will be at 8:30, and they play at a little place called Brick by Brick. It's $20, and Drab Majesty and Uniform will be opening for them. Deaf Heaven actually just dropped their brand new album, which is called Ordinary Corrupt Human Love. And I know this is a bold statement, but I think this is my pick for Album of the Year.
Ooh. Nice.
As of now, it's incredible, man.
Cool. Yeah.
And they're just like genre defying, like everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's better than the Sunbather album, which everybody I think is their masterpiece.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
I feel like they finally they topped themselves somehow. So anybody who hasn't heard the new album, check it out. Or if you haven't heard Deaf Heaven and at all, check them out. I can't guarantee that you'll dig it because it's an acquired taste, but it's worth a shot. Check them out.
And it's Deaf Heaven,
not Deaf Haven.
Not Deaf Haven. Okay.
Deaf Haven is another band.
Okay, cool.
Deaf Heaven.
Okay.
And with that being said, we'll move into our focus.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And now for the movie focus of the week.
All right, everyone. So tonight we're going to be talking about Sin City. It's rated R. It's from 2004, and it's got a cool 77 on Rotten.
Nice.
It's a string of 3 hard-edged noir stories, all set in the backdrop of the infamous Sin City, aka Basin City, which is actually a fictional town or city or whatever. It's straight from the mind of Frank Miller, who's done epic stuff like 300, or I think he's worked on a lot of the Batman stuff as well. So it's very cool. The film's starring Jessica Alba, Mickey Rourke, Rosario Dawson, Bruce Willis, Clive Owen, Jamie King, Powers Booth, and tons more.
Yes.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Also, I wanted to dedicate this episode to Michael Clark Duncan, Brittany Murphy, and Powers Booth, who we've lost.
Yeah.
So R.I.P. to them.
Yeah.
This is for you. And part 2 wasn't the same without them. That's all I'm going to say. This was directed by Robert Rodriguez, who you guys might know did El Mariachi, Desperado, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, Machete, Spy Kids, which we don't talk about.
That was my first one. I was waiting for you to say.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl, which his son wrote the screenplay for.
I actually like that movie.
That's crazy. That sounds like a good idea. Let's make this movie.
Fuck yeah, son. Hell yeah, I support you.
Shark
That's
boy.
crazy.
Also, Quentin Tarantino was a guest director on the film.
That's cool.
And we'll talk about which piece he actually did. A lot of people don't know what he directed.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to take a stab in the dark, but he did the Talking Head. I mean, when freaking Jackie Boy comes to life after he's already dead.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah,
Awesome.
for some reason. All right.
Good eye, sir.
Cool. The Talking Heads.
Let's open up the little question bit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the film. So, what made you pick Sin City for Con Week?
When I seeing this movie for the first time, I was blown away because I'd never seen anything like this at all, ever, and I thought it was like insanely crazy. Everything about this was kind of like revolutionary, almost.
Yes.
Yeah. And something I've never, like I said, something I had never seen before.
Very experimental.
Yeah.
Especially at the time.
This is weird. Like, it's black and white, but then specific colors you see and don't. And when you don't see everything, every color, when you do see one color, it makes it pop out so much more.
Yeah.
Like when someone's eyes are blue.
Because your eyes adjust to the noir tone, the blacks and the whites and the grays, and then all of a sudden, this person spews blood and it's red.
Yeah.
And it's so much more effective.
Yeah.
Like the violence, or even like the when the car is red or the car is blue, you're just like, it's so.
Like it just pops.
I feel like it's so innovative.
Yeah.
Like the filmmaking and the risks that they took.
Definitely.
In 2004, to do comic book movies weren't a thing then.
Not
You
even.
know what I mean? And they pumped all this, money. I know Robert likes to make movies on a budget, but I'm sure they still put several $1 million into this, But it looks masterful and executed to perfection. You know what I mean? I'll say this right now. I think this film is a hard 10 for me.
Nice,
it's perfect.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Visually, and the story is awesome too.
The story's crazy. How everything's kind of intertwined, and everyone's kind of especially if you watch the second one.
Because you have to think about, for anybody who's unaware of the Sin City universe, these are all separate graphic novels written at different times, but within the same city, intertwining these characters and all these stories. So, with the film, Frank Miller never wanted this to be turned into a film. So when they did this, they intertwined each story, you know what I mean? So it's so weird to see, when you have the hard goodbye, then you got the main character kind of walking through from the big fat kill, and you don't even know that he's going to be a main character until you get to his story.
Yeah, exactly.
And they do that all the way through. But the way that they did this so seamlessly, especially that they didn't really have a screenplay, all they did is kind of go back to the source material and use, the screenplay was the books on the set.
And that's why everything looks like you're watching a live-action comic book.
They're like
pages are turning as the movie's going. Yeah,
it's incredible.
It's like panel for panel in the comic book and in the graphic novel, and it's insane. And I think that was something that had never been done before until this movie, and then you get copycat people, and then some things that didn't work and some things that did after this.
I'd like to see the reactions to the cast when they were just handed the role. Like if they were reading everything and then everybody took a giant step, and all of these main cast members were like, "Yeah, we'll do it." All these actors are like, "Yeah, we'll do it." So all of these people came together for this epic film, and it's you can see it. It shows,
Yeah.
I think it's freaking amazing.
It really is.
One thing that I knew the stories were out of a time. They weren't like really like the beginning wasn't the beginning, and the end was kind of the beginning.
Yeah, he does. He writes in a narrative that's kind of like Tarantino-esque,
Yeah.
where everything's out of chronological order.
Yeah, and it's up to you to kind of put everything together and understand. He leaves it up to the viewer to understand. Okay, so none of this is in order.
So the first story starts with Marv, and then spoiler alert: Marv passes away.
Yeah.
Right? As we mostly know. And then the second story, you'll see Marv alive back in the bar because the story,
the second story takes place
before the events of the first story, which is awesome.
Yeah,
I love stuff like that.
It's like in the beginning, you see the sign for base and city, and the B is all shot up. The B and the A are shot up, and then when Bruce Willis's character is driving to go save Jessica Alba, Nancy, and you see that basin isn't all shot up.
Yeah,
it's a clean sign, and that made me realize like I totally forgot, and I'm like, oh shit.
So that was 8 years after Nancy, when she was 19. So when they show her for the first time and Marv is all beat up, how far do you think that is after, Hardigan killed himself and sacrificed? How far do you think that is? Like, you think she's like a couple years older, or because you know how it kind of like it does the beginning and then it goes to the prequel. So you know that she was fine, she was okay, she survived. They didn't come after her and try to kill her because she's still working at the bar. So I don't know. I don't know if that's touched upon on the second movie.
Honestly, before we answer or we talk to you about that, I would recommend watching 2.
Okay.
To be honest,
because I was gonna bring it up. A Dame to Kill For is almost like a prequel kind of, right?
Like a sub-chapter before
the parts of that movie happen in between Sin City.
Okay.
So there's parts where you're like, oh.
Like there's a story dedicated to Dwight's character.
Yeah,
Dwight before he gets involved with Shelley.
And there's things that she says in this movie that don't make sense until you. I mean, I guess because she says, "Oh, you got a new face."
Yeah. Okay.
He's kind of he's a different actor.
Okay.
So
you're like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I really need to fucking watch part 2.
Yeah.
You do, man. Yeah. Another question I got for you guys: What's your first experience with the film?
Vic?
Dang. I want to say I watched it at the movies, Palm Promenade 24.
Wow.
Nice.
all those movies that came out during that time, because that's all I really did. I didn't really go out. I went to shows and I went to movies.
Fuck yeah.
But I remember seeing it, and the first image that I saw of the actual movie before it was just a still was of Marv talking to his parole officer, and you see all those bandages all over him, and he's like not punching her, but he's like doing a fist or whatever. And I remember thinking like, what the fuck is this? And I was intrigued by it because it was all black and white. And then I saw the trailer and I was sold on it. I went to, I want to say it was probably like that first opening week. It was a bunch of us that went. I even think Eli went with us too. But when we went, it was freaking awesome. I thought it was amazing. I wanted more. And I remember thinking, this is like a drawing. Everything was a drawing. Mm-hmm. Even the first time I noticed when Hardigan was talking to his partner, Michael Madsen, and he turns to face the camera and he turns out of focus, it almost turned like he's like a painting behind him. Yeah. And since that moment, I was like, this is going to be a freaking amazing movie because I could just see the contrast and the transition, and everything else was a gas. It was great. But yeah. That was like my first experience at seeing it at the movies, and then when I got it, I watched it probably for a month straight.
Nice.
All the time.
Yeah.
And it was always alone. I always trip out on movies alone because I get to focus more and tune in on little things that I didn't notice, But yeah, that was my first experience with it.
Mine was I saw this on a bootleg.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm not saying from who. I didn't purchase it, so it's not illegal. But yeah, I remember seeing this and I was like, "What the heck am I watching?" And like I said, it